Hey folks, it's Brandon Schaefer here. Very important video about the pre-planning stages of painting or any kind of art that you do, pastel, drawing, endless list there. But the pre-planning stages and how to go about how to approach a painting, because most people see the blank canvas and they get scared, and that goes back into the fear. And I've done plenty of videos about overcoming fear and just doing it. Because you're not going to gain anything from not doing it. Even if you make mistakes, you're going to gain knowledge and insight from that. So even if you fail, it's still good. But a lot of people get the fear of seeing that white canvas and they go, man, what am I going to do? Some people draw a sketch out on the canvas. But here's some things that are very important that you may have overlooked. And this is what I'm starting to do myself, and I found it, the last few paintings I've done, it's been very valuable to me to do these things. So I'm going to share them with you. Actually, the first thing is you want to, if you're a landscape artist or whatever kind of artist you are, if you do portraits, just go about, just twist whatever I say to match what you do. So for instance, I'm more of a landscape painter, so I'm going to say how I go about it, how to approach a landscape painting. So I go outside and I find a real beautiful place or just take a walk. I get inspired by the experience. I remember the lighting, how it felt, the whole emotion and energy of everything. Then I take some photos. Could be on the same day, could be a different day. The more you get out, the better it's going to be to remember that feeling and what kind of emotion you want to convey in your work. I find that to be very useful. But so taking some photos, whether just quick snapshots, it could be on your phone, it could be with your little point and shoot. If you have a nice SLR, you could use that. Either way, you're just taking photos to basically as very loose references to maybe show the lighting, shapes of things, to just understand how nature works and the values of things. And after that, you gather these photos on your computer or in person, however you do that. Then you start by rearranging things in them. You take a tree and move it into this photo, and take those clouds out of this photo and put it in this photo. So that's something that takes a lot of practice, and what you want to do is start doing sketches. And even make them better than the ones I have here. I didn't take a lot of time with these. These are quick ones that I did. They're not really value sketches. They're kind of just compositional sketches, working out the flow and the line work. You know, how are the lines working within it. And I think I ended up painting this one, but I did a few just making them up, and I changed a few things, made the lines curve a bit more. Usually in a landscape, everything is just horizontal, and I'm going to make another video about that, but everything is horizontal, so you want to kind of interact with the vertical plane and kind of curve things, change the perspective a little bit, but still keep it in reality. So just doing sketches like this, using the photos you have, you know, if the mountain's over here, just move it over here. Just slide it over. Change things. Change the flow of nature. Nature usually hardly ever gives you a good design. Good design in a painting, which you see through all the famous works and any good artwork, you're going to see good design. Well, when they're painting that in nature, they move things around. They changed everything. They changed the colors. You know, they could change the lighting, they could change everything. But they use what nature has given them, the basics, the foundation. They use that, but just manipulate it. So it takes a lot of practice and a lot of time, but it's better to plan out like this, draw some sketches, and then once you find one that just feels right, like that you should try to paint, you pick one, and then you move it into the next stage and do a full page sketch or something. And see, with this, I didn't really plan out any values because I kind of just knew how it was going to go. I kind of you know, I just knew that how I wanted it to be. But sometimes it's better to really take your time and plan out the value, and where it's going to be darker, you just darken it in more. I knew everything back here was going to be lighter. It was midtones for the most part, but I knew stuff in the foreground here was going to be darker, and I knew this was going to be dark. So it was so big, I didn't want to take my time to really plan it out like that. But I had it in my mind, I could just see it. So that really helped. And even the painting. So what I did was I took this sketch and I hung it up on the wall next to my easel where I was painting. So I was painting right in front of me, and then I have this sketch here to always refer to. Now what this does is this sketch doesn't tell me about anything about the colors, right? So what colors do I use? Well, that's up to me. I get to choose. I don't have to look at a photo and worry about, is this color matching it correctly? You know, is the color off a little bit? See, it gives me free rein to play around with color and be kind of expressive about it and do what I want with it and put a lot of temperature into it. So things closer in the shadows, I can make them really warm shadows, and then as it goes back I can put a lot of phthalo blues and some nice blues back here and really just give it that depth and the warmth. And here's another page I did of some sketches. This first one is actually by is a Carlson. So what I did is I took his painting and I sketched it just to see how the masses and everything, how he planned his out. And then I went and tried and just drew some of my own, kind of based off of his work. You know, I tried painting this, but it didn't really turn out how I planned. So it was really just something I was playing around with, and it turned out to be a failure. But I learned from that failure, and I just moved on from there, and I've only improved since. So it's cool to take other people's work and sketch it out and see, like, break down the line structure of it, and you can really see what's going on. Usually when it's a full color painting, it's hard to see the values and everything. So even turning their paintings black and white would help you on a computer if you could do that. But anyway, you take this large sketch, and now this gives you free rein for color. Instead of a photo reference, which a lot of beginner artists like myself and other people would take a photo reference and really just try to match the photo reference instead of moving things around. But when you're sketching it, it's so easy to move things around. You can just, like with this photo, all I really did, like this is kind of the photo I took, but I added a mountain in the background. You know, I changed this curve. It was just straight across, but I changed it down a little bit so that it kind of curves around, you know, curves up this way. I changed this a little bit, changed the height of trees and everything. I changed all kinds of stuff from the original photo. And I tried to make a more appealing sketch, and something that would be more appealing as a painting, because nature didn't really give me a good design. So you have to learn that design and that composition and all those elements that I've been hammering on for the last 2 to 3 years now. You really have to learn those things and look at it in other people's work and apply it to your own and work at it. Sometimes not every painting will be a masterpiece, and I've made a video on that as well. I mean, all these things I'm saying I've made videos on, going into them in depth, so check them out. But if one painting comes out of failure, just critique it when you're done, and what's not appealing about it? What doesn't look right? Is it the composition? Is the foreground not inviting? Is this just not a good balance of weight and distribution? What is wrong with it? Is the colors off, etc.? But as far as the pre-planning stages, what this whole video is about is planning this out and then painting from a sketch. Try painting from a sketch, and then you can draw this on your canvas and then start the painting and just start blocking in and be free with your color and just use a limited palette like red, yellow, blue, white, and have fun. Mix up some colors, play around with everything, with the lighting, and that's the most important thing, is getting the lighting and I may do another video on this, is that there's only two worlds in painting. There's light and shadow. And you have to know when you're painting, every stroke that you put down, you should know, is it in the light or is it in the shadow? You know, that's important, because if you don't know, then how do you know what value to make it? How do you know how bright or dark to make it? You got to understand what is shadow and what is light. That way your paintings don't look muddy. And that some paintings I've done plenty in the past, that the shadows aren't really strong enough, or the light isn't light enough. There's no separation between them, and it just looks bland. And I see that in a lot of beginners' work for people that send me their work, is that they don't recognize what is light and what is shadow. And if you don't do that, then your painting is going to be in trouble. You're not going to have a nice painting. Because in nature, when you look outside, that's what nature is. There's light and then there's shadow. And you can clearly see, if you look outside, that roof is in light. This side of my face is light. This side of my face is shadow. If it was all the same value, you wouldn't really, I would look funny if there was no light and no shadow to give me form. So anyway, just some different concepts there, try to throw in here to inspire you and encourage you, and to show you that it's kind of simple, but it's very complex at the same time. Anyway, but planning out, get a sketchbook like this, and just when you do a painting, don't just sketch one out. Don't sketch one option out. Sketch a whole bunch. Sketch like 10 or 12 different. Really, I would just suggest this: just dividing your paper into fourths, and then doing 4 sketches. And just do that for like 5 pages, and then look at all of them, lay them all out, and see which ones work, which ones don't, and narrow it down to which one you should try to paint. That's the best way to do it. And then take that one on a bigger level, get more detailed with it, and try to work everything out. I know there's a lot of detailed people out there, so you guys will love doing a real detailed sketch, having it all planned out before you even jump to the canvas. That's the thing. With painting, there's a lot of behind the scenes that people don't know. The average person doesn't know what we do. We don't just jump to the canvas and start painting and it's a masterpiece. You have to plan it out. You have to, you don't have to. Some people can do that, just jump on the canvas, make it look nice. But usually they've been painting for 20 years or something. So planning it out, especially in the beginning stages when you're first painting, the first 10 years, 20 years, however long, plan it out. And that way you'll know in your head if it's going to work or not. Because some people don't even do this, so they just, they take the first option and go throw it on the canvas, and then it doesn't work, and then they feel like they have a failed painting and they wonder why. Well, you should have went with this option and not this first option. So it's just working out what works and then jumping onto the canvas. So anyway, I hope this video helped. I know it's a little long. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Put your comments down below. Any questions, let me know, and I'll do another video answering them for you as quickly as I can. So anyway, thank you. Give this video a thumbs up if you wish to see more like this. I'd appreciate it. And keep on painting, keep on drawing, keep on planning. Don't get discouraged no matter what. And take care of yourself. Peace.